Episode of the Fantasy Underdogs podcast brought to you by BetOnline and the Believe Podcast Network. Oh, yeah. We're back and better than ever. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back on for another football season. As always, BetOnline is your number one spot for the pro and college action this season. With a new updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline continues to be the number one source for everything football. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Don't forget to use our promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to receive your bonus. From football, basketball, boxing, right to your favorite Vegas casino games, don't wait to take advantage of the all-amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts. And now, the Fantasy Underdogs podcast. And welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Fantasy Underdogs podcast, presented to you by the Believe Podcast Network and also betonline.ag. And if you follow Macho Man's directions like in the promo before the show started, you can get your 50% welcome bonus if you go and put in the code BLEAV, Believe. What's going on, guys?
Oh, just having the time of my life.
Oh, I bet. You had an eventful.
Yeah. In and out of the hospital this week. Meet a lot of nurses that are my friends now. So,
Nice.
it was super exciting, but we're feeling a lot better and ready for week 4.
That's the important thing, is that you're feeling better. That's good.
This is technically bed rest, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm sitting in a chair. My bed's right there. We're fine.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
I'm on location, in vacation land. So that's what I got going on. But definitely ready for football this weekend. A lot of huge games. Ready to pick them right, hopefully. Gain some ground on you, Jordy.
I know. You're up by 2 on me, and then I think you're up on like 3 or 4 on Chip and Kaylee. So, yep. And this week's pick'ems are like hard.
Yes. No, I said before the show, I was like, I feel like this is the week. I picked so many upsets, and I feel like I picked every wrong upset. Like, I'm going with my gut, but it just doesn't feel as right as it normally does. So we're just going to see what happens.
Well, I mean, you were in the hospital and your gut, so it doesn't feel right. And now, maybe.
We'll see. Who knows? Maybe the antibiotics they put me on gave me like an upper hand.
Oh,
maybe. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Gut feelings are a lot stronger right now.
She got pick'em powers now.
Yes. Oh, I like that.
Chip, I saw so many like check-ins from you on Facebook. I was like, dude, where is this guy going to end up at the end of the night? It's awesome.
Always back in the room in the bed is where he always ended up. So that's good.
Good.
That's always a good thing.
Yes, very much so.
All right, week 4 started off with a bang with the Bengals defeating the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags are now 0-4, and we won't go into the rest of the game after that because of how there's so many.
Went good, and LaVisca Chenault went good.
There's so many other things involving the Jags that came out last night we won't even get into because that's just a whole nother show. So we'll just move on to our first weekly pick'em. The Washington football team travels to Atlanta to face your Atlanta Falcons today. Chip, who do we got in the matchup between
my Atlanta Falcons? I hate saying that.
I'm sorry,
I don't know if they're my Atlanta Falcons.
Yes, your Atlanta Falcons. So who do we got? Who do we got in the matchup today against the Washington football team and the Atlanta Falcons?
I mean, like I said, I'm poo-poo on the Falcons all this year. I mean, we did beat the Giants. The defense actually played better. The only thing that scares me is Washington defense right now has been awful.
Poo-poo.
It hasn't been the defense we've seen. And I think this is the game on their schedule where they're like, hey, here we come. Washington's defense is still for real. So I'm taking Washington on this one. Still don't believe really in the Falcons yet, although they did get their first win against the Giants. So Washington for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going Washington as well. Falcons did get their first win against the Giants, but they like scraped it out by like the skin of their teeth. Like it came right down to the end. And Washington, there's still a lot of holes. Their defense isn't living up to the expectations that we wanted them to, but I still think they're a much better team than the Giants. So if the Falcons are just barely beating the Giants, I think Washington has an easy win.
So good. This is one of my picks that I'm hopefully going to gain some ground on you, Jordan. So I got the Falcons
Good.
beating the Washington football team today. I just the way Washington's defense has been so shoddy the past couple of weeks hasn't really been a confidence builder. And I dropped them in my fantasy leagues. I mean, those one of the defenses I picked up in a couple of my leagues where, Washington came in with so much hype with this mad dog crazy defense that was going to scare a lot of people, and it hasn't really been. It's been more of a whimper the past couple of weeks instead of scaring a lot of people. But I mean, this is one of those games where it's like I don't trust either team. So if I want to gain some ground on Jordan, I've got to pick the opposite. So I'm glad I'm picking the Atlanta Falcons today. I'm hoping for a big game from Kyle Pitts. We still have yet to see a coming out game from him. Chip, we talked about this before about Mike Davis and Cordell Patterson. Is Cordell Patterson going to maybe eclipse Mike Davis today in touches, fantasy-wise?
I think he does that just in touches means he's going to get handed off. So I don't know if he'll do that, but opportunities or receptions or, potential to score points, I think he outpaces Mike Davis because he can play three positions. He can be a punt returner, kick returner, wide receiver, and running back. So I don't know if he outpaces touches for Davis. He could, but better odds on him being on the field and making plays a lot more than Mike Davis.
Okay. Jordan, Antonio Gibson was questionable this week. He is going to be active today against the Falcons. Do we see a big game from Antonio Gibson, or are we going to see more of a passing game from Taylor Heinicke and the Washington wide receivers?
I think it is going to be a big passing day, but I do think you're going to start to see more of Antonio Gibson. I don't think he's going to look like the Antonio Gibson we all wanted him to look like, especially considering I drafted him in 2 fantasy leagues. So I don't think he's going to be totally up to par, but no offense, Chip, against that Falcons, like we all saw how the Eagles looked against the Falcons week 1, and I was getting like Super Bowl hopes for the Eagles. Like I thought we were this great team, and it was really like this high, and then we came crashing down. So I think if the Eagles can look like that against the Falcons defense, Washington has a very good chance to make some noise here.
Okay. Let's move on to the Houston Texans going into Buffalo to face the Buffalo Bills, who are gaining some steam and looking at like that Buffalo Bills team we all thought they were going to be this year. Houston's got Davis Mills at under center today going against that Bills defense. I think it's a clean sweep here with our picks. Bills all the way. Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody?
Yeah. No, not a soul. I don't think anybody's taking Houston in this one. This would be a shock.
Yeah, definitely.
I wanted to ask you too about Buffalo's backfield. Now, last year it wasn't really something to really be excited about. We all thought them bringing in Zach Moss was going to be, that shot of injection that their backfield needed. But this year it's been kind of interesting to see how it's been kind of getting some steam in the backfield with Singletary and also Zach Moss. Are Zach Moss and Devin Singletary somebody to consider in a flex position if you're in need of a running back this week?
I mean, I think so. You're playing Houston, and they're really bad. And I mean, so both guys should get touches as far as using them, and they've both been used. One's usually been injured, and the other one's got a majority of the work. So yeah, I think they're in a flex position if you're dying for running backs.
Okay. Yeah, if you really need it, I think it's safe, especially against the Texans. And I think we all kind of had this misconception of the Texans because we all expected them to be terrible. They kind of came out very hot with Tyrod Taylor, and then they fizzled out with Davis Mills. So I think we're back to seeing the Texans with what we all expected before the season started. So I think it is safe. I think you have to be really desperate to get to that point, but if you need it, I think it's a good option.
Jordan, Brandon Cooks has had double-digit fantasy points for the past 3 weeks. He's
Triple
been
digits. Can you imagine?
I know, right? He's been hitting the 20-point mark for the past couple weeks. He's pretty much their only option. Would you start Brandon Cooks today against that Bills defense?
I would, just because going off of what you said, he really is their only option. So if that's who you have, I prefer him probably more in a flex today, just because can you imagine if he is able to get all those touches and he puts up 20 points in your flex, but if he can only get, who knows, 10 points, 11 points, it's kind of that safe, like in between. So really it can't hurt you too bad if he doesn't get the looks that he has been getting. But so yeah, I like him more in a flex today against the Bills, but I still like him.
Okay. All right. Next matchup, the Lions and the Bears. What a matchup this is today. And I spelled Lions without the S. What can we expect from this garbage of a matchup today? Now, Matt Nagy has been scrutinized all year long about, the way he's been handling the quarterback situation. We've talked about this on this show, where it's almost a lose-lose situation for Coach Matt Nagy. Justin Fields is going to be starting today. Didn't look all that great in his first real official start last week. The Lions have really been competitive in their games. Haven't gotten that win just yet. They were robbed by Justin Tucker last week with that last-minute 66-yard boink of
and a missed delay of game call.
Right. So could the Lions?
I took the Lions. So I lost that game last week because of a missed call and the longest field goal in NFL history. I was like, are you freaking kidding me?
Could the Lions get their first win today against the Chicago Bears?
Yes. I am for some reason riding the Lions. The Lions deserve a win because they were down by 20 points against the San Francisco 49ers, which coming into the season, Chip has them going to the Super Bowl. And we all said the Lions were a joke. So for them to come back and make this comeback against the 49ers the Ravens had the upper hand that entire game. And then they came back. Lions should have won that game against the Ravens. I will never get over it. So I think today against the Bears, who are very broken, I do think we see a better game from Justin Fields today. Me and Kaylee talked about it a lot. We did not want him to start against the Browns just because that defense is so scary and the Bears literally don't have an O-line. So we knew it was going to be an ugly start for him. So I do think he finds his groove a little bit more, but I do think the Lions take it today. They've earned it.
Chip?
Yeah, it depends on how fast Fields can get acclimated. I agree with you, Jordy. I think he's going to get better for every week, after this if he continues to start. But I just think everything else is in kind of a disarray with, Matt Nagy at the helm and things not really coming together. But yeah, Detroit has always put it together on the field where they needed to, and they just keep coming up a little bit short. So yeah, I think they put it all together in 4 quarters, get a little lucky, and beat the Bears.
Yeah, I have. Wow, it's a clean sweep. I've got the
Lions.
As well.
Wow.
I do. I've got the Lions. I'm like, it almost pained me to click on the Lions, but I have faith in Motor City Dan Campbell and those Lions bite kneecaps today, and they'll get their first win. They were robbed last week.
They were
robbed.
I think that sent me into the hospital. I honestly think that's what did it. Because I was like, are you kidding me? I go out on a limb. I get roasted all week. Everyone's yelling at me. What are you thinking? And then they're so close and it just doesn't happen. I was like, this is it. I'm done.
I hope the Lions didn't put you in the hospital. I hope it wasn't that. It is.
Well, it was either the Lions or the Eagles against Dallas. So.
Let's go with the Eagles. All right, so our next matchup, the Panthers at Jerry World against the Dallas Cowboys. This is an intriguing matchup to me. I like this matchup today because the Panthers have been doing so well with a rejuvenated Sam Darnold under center. Their defense looks actually legit this year. The one thing that they're going to have a problem with is the run game with Christian McCaffrey still out with his hamstring injury. Chuba Hubbard is going to be in there to fill in for those weeks. Do we see the Panthers going into Jerry World to beat the Cowboys today?
Absolutely. I'm 100% rolling with Dallas is coming off of a very short week. Panthers are coming off of a very long week. If Sam Darnold can make anything happen on offense, which Chuba Hubbard has proven that he can be the real deal. I've liked what I've seen from him, and Sam Darnold has a lot of options on offense. So if they can kind of get the ball rolling there, Dallas defense has proven that they've gotten better and they are more legit than we've seen them in a long time. But I still think Panthers offense can get the upper hand there. And if that defense, now is CJ Henderson playing today? Or is he, because they got CJ Henderson out of Jacksonville.
I
So if
believe
he's playing today too, there's a lot there. And that Panthers defense, even without JC Horn, I know there's a lot of injuries now. I still think that Panthers defense can stop the Cowboys offense. And as long as Sam Darnold can make moves on offense, then they're going to be fine.
Dak didn't look all that great last week.
I don't even want to talk about last week.
I know you don't want to talk about last week, but he didn't look all that great this week.
So what makes it not look good though? I mean, he had almost.
Yeah, I have to say I think he is looking good.
All right.
He almost had 500 yards in the air.
Yeah.
He had 451.
I don't know. I mean, don't make me compliment.
No, I don't want you to. I don't want you to at all.
I think they're looking very, very. They're a solid team. This is honestly me being super biased and still butthurt that we lost to them. So I'm taking the Panthers.
I mean, could you already say that they've already ran away with the NFC least already? I mean,
no, it's going to come down to week 17. Okay, 100%.
Okay.
Chip, I still think Washington has a chance too. Giants don't.
Chip, in this matchup today, Tony Pollard looked great. Him and Zeke have really been doing the 1-2 punch for that team. Zeke had a better game last week with the 2 touchdowns, but Tony Pollard's been really involved in the passing game as well for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Are the Cowboys going to be running it down the throat of the Panthers today? Or are they going to be relying more on the air?
I don't care which one they do because the Panthers are number 1 in both categories in the NFL defensively.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm sticking with Jordy on this one, and I hate that she took Carolina. Dang it.
Me too, because I took Carolina as well. So,
but I just think that Sam, the only thing that scares me is the security blanket of McCaffrey. Hubbard did great, and he showed that he can do it, but obviously he's just coming into his own and starting to find things. So I don't know if he'll be as ready for those quick passes of blitzer coming. I don't know if he's going to be ready for Sam Darnold coming at him. So that's my only worry, but yeah, I think Carolina is for real. And I mean, you saw some chinks in the armor. Carolina is doing great sack-wise. I think they're either number 1 or in the top 5 at least for sacks. They're first with 13.5. So they can get after Dak and they can move him around the pocket. So, yeah, I think Carolina wins this game. And this is, I mean, it would be fantastic if they won and beat Dallas at Dallas. I would love that.
All right, so we're all picking the Panthers on this one. Okay.
Yep.
You guys are all. I can't believe you guys all did that. You're
well.
Jeez,
I thought my brain would be opposite Dave, so I could pick opposite of Jordan, but I guess not. So, all right, let's move on.
I have some hot takes coming up.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
We've got the Colts going into Miami. Miami, of course, is going to be out with no Tua, of course, who I'm still not even sold on. I don't think Miami's going to be sold on him for any kind of long couple of years. Colts going into Miami. How's Miami going to really kind of recoup this season and really get back into a competitive form in that AFC East? Are they going to be just kind of the bottom of are they going to be fighting for third place by themselves with just who they got? Or are they going to, when Tua comes back, are they going to be able to compete? Because right now I don't see it. I'm picking the Colts today to go into Miami, even though the Colts have been just really ugh upon ugh. So Jordan, I want your take on the Colts going into Miami. It's your boy Carson Wentz. What's going on Carson Wentz in that offense?
He just looks like the same Carson Wentz that was stuck in Philly last year, and I was kind of hoping he would get the opportunity to revamp himself and kind of get back to that MVP look, and he just really hasn't been able to. It seems like he's making all of the same mistakes, even on a brand new team. And we all know I am sold on Tua. I know we differ on this a lot. And I think the reason Miami's struggling because Jacoby Brissett isn't a bad quarterback. I think the reason that they're struggling so much is because they built this offense so much to be around Tua. So it's really structured to fit him. So it's hard for somebody else to kind of step in and then make that work. So I do think that once Tua gets back in there, they are going to have a chance depending on how Mac Jones can kind of handle the Patriots season in the meantime. But so I'm not totally out on the Dolphins. I'm big fans of them. This game was one of the hardest ones I had to pick. I did go with the Colts. I know. I'm sorry. I told you I have hot takes coming up. Don't worry. I feel like they're going to be different a lot for the rest of the way. But I did take the Colts just because I feel like they're due for a win. Miami is still very hit or miss. So I did go with the Colts.
Man, the Colts are better defensively in every
Did we all take the
category.
Colts?
I think so.
I mean, they're all better. So, I mean, I can't, like, in good conscience, although Brissett now has had a week of practice, and so he should be better, I hope.
I'm still torn on this pick because think about Miami's defense, though, with Carson Wentz.
Yeah, and so, and that's another thing is that, Miami can, they should be able to get after, the quarterback because Wentz isn't that mobile. He's usually more mobile. He's got 2 hurt ankles, and, they're missing Quentin Nelson and Braden Smith, another tackle. So, I mean, this is another one. I'm going to ride with the Colts like right now, but this could be changed before. But they're just better in every statistical category right now than the Dolphins. So that's why I can't lean that way.
My heart wants to take the Dolphins.
Well,
but my gut is saying
go with your gut.
I have the power from my antibiotic,
I've
so I'm
switched this
going
one
my gut.
twice now. So I don't know.
This is a tough one.
This is another tough one. We'll circle back around to that one right before game time to see what everybody does, but I am going to stick with the Colts right now.
Okay. Our next matchup is the Browns traveling to Minnesota to, matchup against the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins has been Kirk Cousins this season so far. The Browns very up and down today. Dalvin Cook will be starting today. Don't know how much involvement he's going to have because he is still kind of hobbled with injury. Who do we got in the Browns versus Minnesota Vikings today?
I took the Vikings.
God.
Did you take them too?
Yes.
I thought this was going to be a lock that like nobody else would take.
Stop doing this.
Sorry. I just think the Vikings are so up and down. And after coming off a win against Seattle, I just think they're going to be in like that trending upward period before they crash again. Jarvis Landry, he isn't playing, right? For the Browns. Like there's just a lot. You're in Minnesota. I don't know. I just get vibes. I feel like Adam Thielen is going to have a day. Dalvin Cook, I feel like, and I hate to say this because he's in one of my fantasy teams, but I just don't think he's going to be able to do that much. And I think they're going to rely more on Justin Jefferson and Thielen. And I just feel like Kirk Cousins is going to go off today.
Both of these offenses are in the top 10. The Browns are 9th in the league in scoring, and the Vikings are 8th in the league in scoring.
Dun, 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 dun.
I know.
Vikings are 8th in the league in scoring. That just feels wrong.
It does feel wrong. Chip, in this matchup today, the Vikings defense has really been not up to par as we've usually seen Mike Zimmer's defenses in past Minnesota Vikings years. Are they going to be able to get it done against the Browns today in that offense that Baker Mayfield is leading? You got the two-headed monster in Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. Odell Beckham's back on the field. I mean, are we going to see it today? Is Minnesota going to pull this one out at home?
Dude, I think we see a Baker day. And I'm going with the Browns because Minnesota right now, they're 27th in the NFL against the pass. They're 20th against the rush. So they're giving up almost 410 yards a game. They're in the bottom, last. I think they're 28th points against. So I think this one comes down to defenses, and Cleveland's just better in every category. And I still think that Baker Mayfield plays off the passing game with the rush they have, two-headed monster. And I'm sticking with Cleveland here. So this is I'm lone wolfing Cleveland, I think. So
that's cool with me.
As
long as somebody's lone wolfing something around here,
yep.
that's okay with me. All right, this matchup, the Giants and the Saints. I have no words for this one. I want you two to take this one away. I hate this matchup. It's gross.
Did anyone take the Giants?
No. This was not the first game, I don't think, where Jameis is still trying to figure out who he is. He had one good game, and then the rest of that's been kind of goo. So, and the Falcons actually played good defense against the Giants and held Danny Dimes, which makes me think that, holy cow, you got real issues if you're not scoring against the Falcons. So that's why I'm leaning more towards the Saints in this one.
Yeah, I heard the argument that the Saints have been wishy-washy, but I feel like this is a very good game for Jameis to look very good. This is going to go in the reel for him. So, yeah, I think this is an easy Saints win.
This should be able to have week 1 numbers because he's been scoring, he's been throwing touchdowns because of his defense has been getting him inside the 10 and the 20 the past couple weeks. That's why he's been throwing touchdowns. So I can't believe I can say this. I would love him to have a week 1 type of game. Obviously, he's not going to throw 5 touchdowns. Well, maybe he could throw 5 touchdowns against the Giants. But, after that week 1, everybody's been, it's the same old Jameis, which it's turning out to be almost like the same old Jameis kind of thing. So if it's any team to do that against, it'd be the Giants. So, I picked the Saints on this one. All right, next matchup. This will be clean sweep all across the board. Derrick Henry is just going to have a monster of a game. AJ Brown and
I took the Jets.
What? No. What? Okay. You know what? I want to hear your reasons. Maybe. Okay. Julio Jones and AJ Brown are out. Yeah. I want to hear this hot take. This might be the clip of the week. I got to hear this.
I took that. I don't know why. It's literally, I single screen.
Yeah, you're single screen for this one.
Right. Yep. So I took the New York Jets against the Titans just because the Titans this whole season have been very up and down. They don't feel as comfortable to me as they've looked in the last 2 seasons. Now you're without your top 2 receivers. I can't see the Jets going 0-17. They are bound to win 1 game this season. And for some, I don't know what it is, something in the wind today. I feel like they're going to pull out a major upset. Zach Wilson's going to kind of get into his groove a little bit. And I just think they're going to get the upper hand on the Tennessee Titans. So,
that's good logic. I mean,
Thank
sure. Yeah, I like that.
Any given Sunday.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, and you have to agree, you're losing both your starting wide receivers.
Yep, this is true.
They really don't have any other stable offensive pieces. And the Jets are 12th against the rush. They're better defensively than Tennessee against the rush. And really,
if they can stop Derrick Henry at all, Jets can make this happen.
Yeah, I mean, so, definitely feasible. And just looking at the numbers, I mean, you can definitely see it. If you make an offense one dimensional and all the Jets have to do is stop it and they're good against the rush, that's what you get.
So, Chip, you're picking the Titans, right?
I'm picking the Titans, but I'll tell you why I'm picking the Titans. I have Ryan Tannehill. I have AJ Brown. I have a whole team that is not playing today. Everybody is going to be sitting, and I'm not starting Tannehill on my team today. So, but I need Tennessee to win, and if they lose, I'm ready to pull the plug on everybody I have for the Titans. They're all going to be leaving my team. So,
Jordan, I like your logic against maybe the Jets pulling out an upset victory against the Titans.
Thank you.
I don't see it happening though, but hey, you never know. You never know.
Hey, worst comes to worst, it's a point for you guys. So
that's true. That's it. It could, and this could be that is clip of the week for you to pick the.
Thank you.
Dude, and this is at Gang Green.
Yeah.
This is in New Jersey.
We're Fireman Ed.
Dude, the more I'm wrapping my head around this, and the spread is under a touchdown. So this is not. I mean, yes, this is an upset. Don't get it twisted.
If there's any week for the Jets to get a first win, it could be this week.
And because you're beating a real team. Like imagine to wake up and just beat the Tennessee Titans. Like it would be cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm scared.
All right. Next matchup, we've got the Chiefs going into Philly to face Jordan's Philadelphia Eagles. Jordan, I'm going to go to you last because this is your team.
Yeah. I can't even believe I'm wearing an Eagles t-shirt right now.
Chip, the Chiefs have really been looking up and down all season. Andy Reid comes back from being in the hospital after last week. He's good to go to be on the sidelines.
Well, we're twins.
Oh, yeah. It's a very good point. Chip, I want your thoughts on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He looked good last week. He's looking like he's finally being involved in the offense like we all thought he was going to be. Is this going to be another week 2 of him being involved a lot, or are we going to see him kind of push back to the way we've seen him in the first couple of weeks and kind of last season for Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
I mean, I hope they continually use him the way they have. I mean, he's the number 1 running back there, and they score a lot of points in a game. So he should get a lot of looks. Philly's been decent against the rush, so that's the only thing that kind of worries me a little bit. But I know they've sustained some injuries this past week, so we'll have to see what happens. But, yeah, I think Clyde will stay the same, hopefully, that he did last year or last game.
Will we see Josh Gordon at all during this game today? Will he be on the field at all for this game? Josh Gordon comes back.
Active today.
He's in active? Okay.
Yeah, he could be made active next week, they said.
Okay.
But yeah.
Jordan, this is your team. The Eagles will be facing the Kansas City Chiefs. Let me hear it.
I'm just hoping I'll be able to watch till the end of this game, because if it's just like a bloodbath, I'm just going to turn it off. I'm going to be like, this is congrats, Chiefs. You're back. You're welcome. But I'm really hoping it's not as ugly as I'm thinking it's going to be. What's just making me nervous is it seems like Nick Sirianni only planned for week 1. And then every week after, it's just like he's gone out there and it's felt very random and felt rushed. So against Atlanta, it felt organized and calculated. We haven't had that since. And now with the injuries, it just feels like the Eagles last year. I mean, the one benefit I will say is Eagles tend to win games that they have no chance winning. That's kind of their MO, but I just can't see it happening against the Chiefs, who are coming off 2 losses. If the Chiefs come in and lose to the Eagles, I will be the happiest person ever. But
are you picking the Eagles or are you picking the Chiefs?
No, I'm picking the Chiefs. Minus 38.
Okay.
It's gonna be
well, the spread now, you're in Philly. The spread's only 7, and I mean it looks numbers wise. I mean against the pass, and maybe I got them backwards. Philly's ranked 5th right now in the NFL against the pass, so that's good. Rushing, obviously, they're a little bit worse. So maybe I got my stats backwards. So we're 26th ranked against the rush. So it's a team defensively that can provide some stops and do some things, but I don't know. We'll see. Like we said, anything can happen any given Sunday.
My friend texted me and she was like, I want advice on an Eagles parlay for today. And I was like, all right, take the Chiefs money line. I was like, but if you want to do anytime touchdown score, I was like, do Eagles defense. But don't trust anyone on Eagles offense today. But I do think Eagles defense will step up. I just don't think it's going to be enough against the freaking Chiefs. It's the Chiefs coming off 2 losses. I'm done.
All right, our next matchup is probably one of the tastiest of the afternoon for the 4:00 game. Both unbeaten, both in the NFC West. The Cardinals playing the Rams. The Rams coming off of a high-profile victory against the Super Bowl champs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Matthew Stafford was named the Player of the Week for the NFL. Had a huge game last week. Is the Cardinals' high-tempo, high-octane offense enough to go in LA to beat the Rams and their defense? Jordan.
Hell freaking yeah. I have the Cardinals. Just because the Rams are, I will say, the Rams are the best team in the NFL right now. Hands down. They are that good. Evan, this is going to kill you.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Because I agree
what I'm going to say next is going to kill you. Okay. They have all of the elements of the Buccaneers, but they're better. Minus Tom Brady, you have Tom Brady, but athletically, Matthew Stafford is a better quarterback. You just have Tom Brady, who's the god and is the smartest man I've ever witnessed in my entire life.
That doesn't hurt me at all because I agree with you.
Okay.
I agree with you right now because the Bucs are riddled with injuries.
Yeah.
Their defense has been holy hell, Swiss cheese ever since game 1. So until the defense turns it around and they get everybody back from injury, yes, I can agree with you on those points.
Okay.
With Matthew Stafford being there under center for LA, it elevated them to be possibly going to the NFC Championship and going to the Super Bowl. With him being there just makes that team 10 times better when Jared Goff was there. And the defense has been showing out each and every week. The Rams are the most complete team this year so far
Yeah.
in the NFL. So I'm not going to say those comments don't hurt me what's
Okay.
because I could say that about the Bucs. The Bucs have so many issues right now that they're not. You can still rank the Bucs in the top 10, but they've got so much going on where they could probably they're not going to lose against the Patriots this week, but going forward, I said 15-2. It could be 3 losses or maybe 4 if they don't get these things addressed. But yeah, I agree with you. The Rams are the best team. They look the most complete. I disagree with you on your pick. I've got the Rams beating the Cardinals today.
I just think
I just think Kyler Murray is going to make stupid mistakes today.
See, I just think if anyone, especially because it's divisional, in divisional games, you really can't even, yes, the Rams, and I'm acknowledging that the Rams are the best team in the NFL, but in divisional games, that really doesn't matter because these are the teams that know everything. They're going to be able to figure it out. But I just think the Cardinals have the options on offense to get around the Rams defense. So I think if any team can do it, it is the Cardinals. If the Cardinals weren't divisional, if this wasn't, I would probably 100% go with the Rams. But I just think the Cardinals are going to be able to work something here.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go with the Rams, and strictly just for the reason right now that half the Arizona Cardinals offensive line, Pugh and Beachum are both hurt, or Beckham, excuse me, and they're both questionable, starting tackle and starting guard, which spells disaster against the Rams if you're playing backups on half of your offensive line. So that's why I'm going to lean towards the Rams. But like you said, Jordy, divisional games is really a coin flip. You see that team the most in a year, and you learn things about them that no other teams do just because they're in your division. So I think it's still going to be a great game, but I'm going to go with LA Rams right now because it looks like they could be missing 2 starters on offensive line.
What's the over under on this?
Over under is 54, and the spread is Rams -4.
Okay, I was gonna say this game's gonna be an air out game because their run, the Rams run game right now is beat up. Cardinals run game, it's gonna be fought in the air because both these teams have great wide receiving cores, so it's gonna be fought in the air. Okay,
it's gonna be other than. And I'm not even that excited for Bucs Patriots because I feel like the Bucs are just going to dominate, and we'll get into that. But other than that game, just because of the storyline, this game is the most exciting one this weekend.
Yeah, totally agree.
This next game could be another exciting one. The Seahawks travel into San Francisco to face another divisional game. The Seahawks going against the 49ers. Who do we got for the 49ers against the Seahawks? Chip.
Dude, this is once again, you look at this, and on paper, I think San Francisco, I want them to be better, but with Jimmy Garoppolo, I can't. I just can't. I'm I just see it going wrong for him, and this is it. This is the prove it game for me. This is at San Fran, and I think they're going to hold it together. They're going to involve Trey Lance in the red zone, kind of what they've been doing, working them in, and I am going to take San Francisco, but I just Jimmy G still, I can't wrap my head around him. And Kittle's a little banged up today. He's supposed to play, but he's questionable, so we won't know until later in the day.
Jordan, Seattle's defense has been one of their biggest issues all season long. Will Seattle's defense be able to go into San Fran and contain Jimmy G in that offense?
Wait, this is actually really funny because I was fully prepared to say that I'm taking the 49ers, and I looked at my thing and I have Seattle checked off. I'm just going to roll with that. Yeah, they'll be able, especially if Kittle. Sure. I'm rolling with the Seahawks. They're coming off a loss. This game, this is one that I think I've switched back and forth 11 times. It's whoever has the ball last, I think, is going to kind of come out with it here. That's so funny though. I was literally, if I went first, I would have said I was taking the 49ers, but then I looked at my thing and I'm literally taking Seattle. So let's see reasons for Seattle. I just Russell Wilson will have a game. We'll see. That's what I'm rolling. I don't really know. This one's literally a coin toss.
Okay.
Lockett's injured too. He's questionable right now. So, and I think a lot of these things, especially, and we said it at the top of the show, there are so many games. I think this spread is 2.5. Yeah, 2.5 points. San Francisco's the favorite, but I mean, this is almost a coin flip. You've got some injuries on both sides, big offensive players, and I mean, it could be. This one might get changed in my book before game time as well.
Yeah, I'm picking Seattle on this one as well.
You're going to take Seattle as well?
Yeah, I'm taking Seattle.
Yeah, so far they're saying Lockett is expected to play, and they said that Kittle is expected to play. Everett is out for Seattle. He will not be playing, I think, because of COVID protocols.
Okay.
So
yeah, Tyler Lockett being out for Seattle isn't as big of a deal as Kittle being out for not out, but like if they can't play, just because also the 49ers run game is so in despair.
Yep.
All right, our next matchup, Ravens going into Denver to play the Broncos. The Broncos are surprisingly 3-0, but they've been playing teams that have been garbage, so combined 0-9 for the teams the Broncos have been playing. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson is questionable right now with a back injury. He's supposed to be playing today. Ravens going into Denver. Do we see the Broncos going 4-0, or are we going to see the Ravens beat the Broncos?
If Lamar Jackson is out there, the Ravens are winning this game. I have no doubt, and I don't want to knock the Broncos at all. What they've done has been very impressive, and I think I kind of had a feeling going into the season that they were going to be a very solid team, but they're not on that tier yet where they're a good team or a great team. Like, they're still working in that direction. So they're winning games that they're supposed to be winning, and they're doing everything right, and they had a very easy start to this season. So everything they've done has been great, but when you have Lamar Jackson, who, like I said, as long as he's playing, has been carrying this team on his back, winning games that he has no business winning because it's like him and Marlon Humphrey carrying the Ravens to victory, basically. Marlon on defense, Lamar carrying the offense. There's just a lot working for them there. So I do like the Ravens. I'm actually really shocked that they're the underdog. I get it. The Broncos are 3-0, but Evan, like you said, they've been playing teams that have a combined record of 0-9. So
0-9.
I definitely think the Ravens get a win here.
Chip?
Why am I looking at Denver? And this was back at the end of August. Denver beat the Rams. Is everybody remembering this? Am I hallucinating? This was on August 28th. I mean, that Denver beat the Rams.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
was just checking in because I was looking at it and I was like, wait a minute. You know what, man? Why not? You know what? Why not? I mean,
are you taking Denver?
It looks like he's going to take Denver, yeah.
I think I'm leaning. You know what kills me, though, is that they get no pub. They lose Judy in the beginning. Cortland Sutton is starting to gain ground. I haven't seen Noah Fant really break out. Melvin Gordon's been hurt. This is like the walking wounded, and every week they just keep kind of putting it together and just winning. And now comes the game where they really have to put it all on the line. It's at Denver. I think, you know where I really think will happen? I think this comes down to a field goal game. And then you have Justin kicks another field goal, but in Mile High, it might be an additional 10 yards, dude. He might shoot for 75, and the ball would actually travel further. So I'm going to stick with Baltimore, but that was a real brain reset for me. And I was looking at the last wins and kind of going through, but that was also Drew Lock as well. So that was a different quarterback, different time. So we'll see. I'm going to stick with the Ravens, but I don't know. I think I'm going to stick with the Ravens, but I think the Broncos could rattle some cages on this one. Lev Bell's supposed to make a play for get time today at running back, which will be good to watch.
Do you think Vic Fangio is in conversations for Coach of the Year if the Broncos have a stellar season and make the playoffs?
Oh, God.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Because imagine, I mean, changing your quarterback and not knowing who your starter is, losing your star wide receiver.
Still making it all happen.
Just a ton of things to overcome.
And after the past couple of seasons, Fangio's been on like that warm, hot seat.
Yeah.
Coaches, possibly getting fired.
No, I think he's played this brilliantly.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Our next matchup for the 4:00 games is the Steelers versus the Packers. Aaron Rodgers going on Pat McAfee shows this week and really praising Coach Mike Tomlin about how he's a great coach. He speaks well. Pittsburgh's a really good city. It's the blue collar blue-collar city he likes to play for, possibly maybe hinting he would love to come to Pittsburgh after he says goodbye to the Green Bay Packers. Steelers they've been injury-ridden the past couple of weeks. They've been trending down. Ben Roethlisberger looks just terrible out there. Aaron Rodgers looks like to be bouncing back to form. Are the Packers going to just dominate the Pittsburgh Steelers today at home?
Yes. Steelers are trending downward. Packers are trending upward. Ben Roethlisberger honestly looks like a drunk uncle that like you picked up in like a old man's like pickup football. They're like, oh, we're playing football on the weekends. Come hang out with us. Like he just looks so bumbly out there, and it's really sad because I think we would all want him to go out on a great note, but he just doesn't have it anymore, which is it's unfortunate. But and then with all of the other injuries that they have, I love the Steelers and I want to root for the Steelers, but you just can't not take the Packers today. Did either of you take the Steelers?
No.
Well, I mean, yeah, we talked about the Steelers' offensive performance when Najee Harris had 14 receptions. He didn't have much in the rushing game, but when you're throwing to your running back that much,
that's fine. He can keep throwing to Najee too.
Yeah, we love that.
Throwing. We love Najee.
Me and Evan drafted him in like every league.
Yes, keep throwing the Najee. That's fine with me.
Yes.
Juju is actually going to play today, which is good. So they will have more. They'll have more wide receivers than they did last week, and Claypool is actually out. So and Deontay
is back.
I think. He's back. So yeah, they'll have at least one more option to go today. So maybe you see those guys. But yeah, I think the Packers are going to run away with this one.
All right. So we got Go Pack Go all across the board.
Go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go. All right.
I would love to see Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. I would love it.
That would be good.
That would be incredible.
Do you think the organization, Steelers, Mike Tomlin, do you think they ever go to Dwayne Haskins sooner rather than later here in the next couple
I think they should. They really should. I've been riding the Dwayne Haskins train since before this season even started. I am a fan of him. I want to see him kind of remake. All he needed was good coaching. He needed guidance and he needed structure. So I think he can get that here with Mike Tomlin. And Ben Roethlisberger I just don't want them to bench Ben Roethlisberger before he retires. Like I kind of want to give him, but at the same time, you have to win games.
Yeah, so but how many more weeks of Ben Roethlisberger subpar player are you going to be able to take until you have to say, look, I've got to make a move. I've got to make a switch at quarterback. How many more weeks?
You just lost to the Bengals, which is a divisional game against the Bengals. And the Bengals are good, but the Steelers should be better. So I think that point should have been the red flag. It's time to start considering it. And I think they kind of look at it over the next couple of games and see if he can start making anything happen. But if in the next 2-3 weeks, it's still bad, it's Dwayne Haskins season.
Okay. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think.
And if they go to Mason Rudolph, I'm going to scream.
No, that'll never happen.
Oh my God. I would be so mad.
I think Big Ben stays under center until an injury happens, and then Haskins gets put in. But other than that, they're not going to bench Big Ben for Haskins unless his play becomes so catastrophic for the next couple of weeks where it's just
costing them.
Yeah, it's costing them more and more games, and he if he looks even more worse than he has been in the past couple of weeks, then they maybe should make a move. But I don't think it's going to happen. It'll never happen. It just won't. All right, this game has been the most hyped game ever since it was announced early this year. The tickets average price is going for $1,200, and that's for the nosebleed seats at Gillette Stadium.
That's insane.
The promos from NBC Sports have been off the charts with the Adele song and also Eminem. Tom Brady returns home, his former home, to face his former team and Bill Belichick. The Buccaneers go into New England to play the Patriots today. Gronk is not going to be traveling with them. He is out with fractured ribs. It looks like the injury was a little bit worse than before. The Bucs are riddled with injuries. Guys, Bucs, Patriots, who do we got in the battle of Tom Brady against his former team and former coach?
There is no way that Tom Brady is going back to Foxborough and losing to mac and cheese rookie quarterback. It's just not going to happen. I don't care how injured the Bucs are. Tom Brady will move that ball himself. He is not. Did you see the promo, the graphics of him walking through and then entering the Buccaneers? Like he was born for this moment. Like this is what he's lived his entire life for.
This is a question that was brought up, I think, on PTI this past week. What would Brady love to have more, the 8th Super Bowl or to go in and beat his former coach?
I think to beat Belichick. I think that would mean more to him.
Yeah.
Do you think their embrace will be somewhat civil when they embrace each other? If they go and meet at the center?
They're not going to. This could be nasty. Like this game could get away from New England quickly. And if that happens, Belichick doesn't go seek out players. He never has. He's gone to coaches. He doesn't go. You just don't see him do that. So I don't think that'll happen. But I also think that, and for some reason, I don't understand this. I feel like the spread should be more than a touchdown. It's 7 right now.
Yeah, it should be.
When you look at it, though, Tampa is last in the NFL giving up yards and passing yards. Their defense right now, sacks-wise, is at the very bottom. They haven't done very well doing that. I think Mac Jones today has over 250 yards, and I think you see some people that do have good games for New England. I don't think they win, but I think that the passing offense, Mac Jones has to, you've played a couple of games. You need to get better. This can be a real moment in his career coming in and playing, a good game. He doesn't have to go out and beat Tom Brady and light the world on fire, but this is a good opportunity for him to show that he belongs and he can do it. Now, this is probably the most pressure-filled game he's going to play besides the Super Bowl just because of all the other things surrounding it. But I think he can go out and have a good game. We'll have to see, but we'll let it happen. I think he will.
Yeah, Chip, I agree with you at what you just said, because of all the games where he could come out and say, okay, hey, I am the starter of the New England Patriots, is this game, because the Bucs are just so riddled with injuries, and then their secondary has just been atrocious, against the pass. But Tom Brady will go and play defense himself to make this team, the Buccaneers. I think this might be a closer game than what a lot of people are thinking it's going to be, because I know a lot of people think the Bucs are going to blow out the Patriots. I don't think that. I think it's going to be maybe a 7-point game or a 14-point game. But this is Tom Brady's way of just giving the middle finger to everybody, and well, not everybody in New England. I'll say the middle finger to the Patriots organization, saying, "Hey, you shouldn't have let me leave, and then I've already won a Super Bowl without you. Now I'm beating you in your home stadium, not being coached by you." I love these types of games, especially now you've got the GOAT and the hype train. Like the viewership of this game is going to be off the charts for Sunday Night Football. It's going to be.
If the Giants-Washington game broke a record over the last couple of years in Thursday Night Football, I don't even want to know what tonight is going to be. It's going to be nuts.
Will we see a lot of New England fans possibly wearing Brady Bucs jerseys at the game?
I don't think so. I think that we're going to see a lot of Patriots, Tom Brady jerseys. And I do think when he walks in, I know a lot of people were wondering if he was going to get booed. I think he gets a full standing ovation. I would be shocked. They, especially for him to leave and then to go win the Super Bowl on another, like you can't not respect him. Like you understand exactly why he did it. And going back to the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady conversation, I would be surprised if we really see them talk at all. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those things where Belichick calls them later in the week or they talk like privately.
I think they might do a handshake at the end of the game. Like a brief one.
Really?
Maybe.
Yeah. Just a brief handshake, and then just a respect thing, and then they part ways. They don't say much to each other. Just say, okay, great game, handshake, and then boom, it's over.
Yeah. Would you be surprised if you see them having like an actual conversation?
Oh yeah.
I would be.
I will be.
Because of Bill. Because that's not how Bill Belichick is. Like Bill, if he gets humiliated or he gets beat, he just wants to leave. And especially when his press conferences have to come up, especially at the end of the game, if he gets beat today, like, because all those questions they're going to be about Tom Brady, and he's going to be deflecting those like Neo in the Matrix. Like, I don't.
Belichick's going to sit there and he's like, "I'm just here so I don't get fined."
Exactly, exactly what. Can we just move on to the next question? Yeah, next question, please. Next question. Yeah, I'm excited for this game. My wife, who is not really an avid football watcher, but she's like, I really want to watch this game tonight. I'm like, what? I did the Scooby-Doo voice. She's like, yeah. She's like, I'm going out and buying snacks. Like, I'm going to make dip. I'm like, what?
Wow.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
So we got some.
Way, guys, I want to apologize. I was looking at Denver, and they had the last 5 games they played. The last one was preseason. That was the victory over the Rams.
Okay.
We're in week 4. But when I saw that, I was like, holy cow, when I pulled their last games, I thought that had happened. But no, that was my mistake. That was the last preseason game.
It is quite all right.
Although,
that's why I wasn't super shocked by it, because I don't really count preseason. I mean, it's still impressive, but
I don't count preseason either. But the category I was looking in was last 5 games, and we're only in week 4. So they showed that last preseason game on the bottom, which I did not read. And I went, wait a minute, that's not real life, is it? That's real life.
All right, we've got a couple minutes left. We want to go into some quick fantasy starts and sits for today. Chip, what are your starts and sits today for fantasy football?
Dude, even though Jordy is saying Derrick Henry could lose, I mean, I looked at the injury report again for Tennessee just to see if Ferkser's playing. He's not playing. I don't know anybody that Tennessee is going to deploy today, not one person. So Derrick Henry literally should be on the field all day. He might not sit one offensive play. So, I mean, you have to start him, but I just don't see how he doesn't get at least 30 to 40 touches, because there's no other offensive pieces for Tennessee at all. So you have to start him if you have him. But, gosh, Jets, go out there and just put 8 in the box and make Tannehill throw to whoever they have out there, which I have no idea who's playing for them today. So, yeah, start Henry definitely.
Yeah, I like Henry a lot. I like the sound of that because I have him. We already talked about it a little bit, Najee Harris. I feel like he's someone, especially with their guys out, they're going to completely rely on him. He might start being like, I don't know about a complete dual threat guy, but they're going to try and utilize him in that way as much as they can. I also really like TJ Hawkinson today. He's coming off of he was silent last week. I think he got like literally less than 5 fantasy points. So I like him today, especially because I have the Lions winning. So I think he's going to have an explosive day. But yeah, those are my 2 that I'm big fans of this week.
I've got Trey Sermon as a start today against the Seattle's rush defense, run defense. I've got Trey Sermon. He had a pretty good game last week starting for the San Francisco backfield. So I've got Trey Sermon as my start. And my sit would be, I don't want to say this because they're going against the Pats, but Fournette or Ronald Jones, you don't really know who's going to be the starting running back for the Bucs offense. So if you got Bucs running backs, sit them. Don't start them at all. Yeah, just don't do that. But anyways, all right, guys, it's been another episode of the FU Dogs podcast. You can follow us on the FU Dogs pod and at Twitter and also Instagram. We're also on YouTube, Twitch, and we've broadcast live, of course, on Twitter and Facebook. Make sure to smash that follow button and follow and subscribe to all of our iTunes and Apple podcast and Spotify as well. So make sure to follow us there and download our podcast. And make sure to go to betonline.ag and put your bets in as well. Are we going to do the show tomorrow, Monday? Quick one?
Yeah.
No? Yeah?
That's a really good game, too.
Yeah.
True. That is true. Okay. We'll see you guys tomorrow night before the Monday night show. So have a great week 4. Make sure to put in your fantasy lineups and pick'ems before 1 o'clock and the 4 o'clock games. We will see you all later. It's been the Fantasy Underdogs podcast.
Go Falcons.
Go Bucs.
Go Eagles.
Yeah.